What I'm about to say is not some clickbait drama. It's not your usual training camp fluff. And it's definitely not a drill. No, this is the type of thing that flies under the radar all off season until one Sunday in October when it's 3rd and 1, the stadium's shaking, and we get blown off the ball so badly it looks like a high school JV squad going up against the Eagles O-line. And all of a sudden, everyone's on Twitter screaming, "How did we not see this coming?" Well, guess what? We did see it coming, and I'm here to talk about it right now because this Cowboys defensive tackle room, it's a house of cards sitting in the middle of a hurricane, and no one seems to realize just how close we are to disaster. Tom Downey here, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If the Cowboys don't figure out this interior defensive line situation before camp gets rolling, before the pads come on, we're going to be watching another year of elite rosters slipping through our fingers like dry sand. Now I know you've seen the names: Osa Odigizua, Mozzie Smith, Solomon Thomas, Jay Toya, Perrion Winfrey, Tommy Akingbasot, Denzel Daxon. Sounds like a full room, right? 7 dudes. Problem is, only 3 of them have proven anything, and the other 4 might as well be lottery tickets taped together with duct tape and hope. Since 2023 started, those 4 have combined for 13 snaps. 13! And that's not a rotation, that's a recipe for absolute chaos the first time a team decides to go north, south down our throat. And I hear you, I hear the optimism. Oh, but Jay Toya got some first-team reps. He's got upside. Yeah, he does. I like him. He's a 7th rounder who's built like a tank and has flashed some juice. But come on now, it's July. He hasn't played a single down of full-contact NFL football. That's not stability. That's a leap of faith so big it'd make Indiana Jones nervous. And Mozzie? Don't even get me started. One minute he's listed at 337, next he's dropping under 300, and the Cowboys are still acting like he's going to suddenly become a dominant anchor, even though he didn't look the part last year and hasn't had a camp yet to prove anything. You want real talk? We are dangerously close to repeating last year's exact same mistake. Remember that? Remember when the season started and our run defense was supposed to be improved, and then we were back on the phone signing veterans off the street by mid-October because teams were absolutely gashing us up the middle like it was a Black Friday sale? Yeah. Now fast forward to this year, and what's changed? We've still got Maisie and a bunch of question marks, and suddenly Solomon Thomas is supposed to be the answer at 270-something pounds? Be for real. This nose tackle room isn't a room. It's a revolving door with no locks. And the Cowboys are once again acting like everything will just work itself out. Like suddenly these guys are going to transform from camp bodies into brick walls by the time we kick off in week 1. Well, newsflash, hope is not a strategy. And if you're banking on 7th rounders and practice squad stashes to stop the run in Philly or Detroit or San Francisco, you're already cooked. Now Nick Harris over at the Star-Telegram dropped a subtle truth bomb when he said 5 DTs will make the roster, but 1 might not be on the team yet. And that is code for, this room ain't it. I mean, even he had to admit in his depth chart breakdown that the 4th and 5th spots are basically up for grabs. And let's talk about that 5th spot for a second. Perrion Winfrey, former UFL guy, has some pass rush upside, sure. But does he fit what we need? Not really. He's 290 soaking wet. He's a 3 tech at best, and we've already got Osa handling that role. What we don't have is a bona fide nose tackle who can eat double teams and hold his ground like a statue made out of steel. And don't even bring up Akingbasot or Daxon unless you're ready to have a full-blown existential crisis. Tommy's a draft and stash type who had 1 sack last year, and Daxon is here through the International Pathway Program and will almost certainly be your 17th practice squad guy, unless he suddenly morphs into the next Vince Wilfork overnight. And even then, he might still miss the cut. And let's not forget the weights. I'm talking the actual body types, because this is where things get scary. Outside of Massey and Toya, none of these dudes are over 310, and some are barely even hitting 290. And we're supposed to go to war in the trenches with that? It's like bringing pool noodles to a bar fight. This ain't finesse ball. This is smash mouth, grown man football. And we're trying to win with 280-pound gap shooters instead of guys who can actually clog lanes and redirect traffic in the backfield. And it gets worse when you look at the free agent market. Because the second you say, okay, let's just go sign someone, you realize there's no one left. Like nobody who makes you say, that guy will fix it. Raekwon Davis, big body, but last year he was invisible. Linval Joseph, sure, you remember the name, but we literally signed him mid-season last year and still couldn't stop the run. And now we're thinking of doing it again, like this is some rerun of a bad sitcom. Spoiler alert, it didn't work the first time. Carlos Watkins, mid-season patchwork again. Armon Watts, Khalil Davis, Austin Johnson. Come on, these aren't saviors. They're space fillers. And if you think any of them are going to walk into Oxnard in August and suddenly fix our most glaring issue, you're living in a fairy tale. The reality is the Cowboys missed their shot. This fix should have happened in March when free agency opened, when there were real difference makers available. But we passed, and now the leftovers are on the shelf, and we're standing in the aisle, pretending like maybe the dented can in the corner will still taste good if we just warm it up. So maybe a trade? All right, who's available? Not Grover Stewart, not DeForest Buckner. Colts aren't moving them unless their season collapses. DJ Reader? Pipe dream. Andrew Billings? Unlikely. Zach Pickens? Maybe. That's a name to keep an eye on if he gets squeezed out in Chicago. But that's not help now. That's maybe we get lucky in August. Jordan Elliott? Shy Tuttle? Broderick Martin? Tyler Lacey? These are all names you'll hear, but none of them are guarantees. And most of them are other teams' cast-offs or projects who haven't lived up to their draft hype. This is not how you win in January. This is how you lose in January. Quietly, frustratingly, when your offense scores 27 but your D-line gets pushed back 3 yards on every carry, and your linebackers are getting swallowed whole. And if you're thinking, Tom, you're being too negative, ask yourself this. Are we really okay going into a do-or-die season with Super Bowl expectations while being this unsure about the center of our defense? Because for all the talk about weapons, about Dak, about CD, about Micah's impact, none of it matters if you can't stop the run, if you can't control the A-gaps, if you can't force third and long. And right now, we can't do any of those things with confidence. That's not negativity, and that's clarity. That's seeing the cliff before we walk off it. So here's the truth. Unless Maisie Smith takes a huge leap, unless Toya proves he's the steal of the 7th round, unless Solomon Thomas defies physics and becomes an elite interior presence, unless the front office shocks us with a mid-camp